Good morning, guys. Happy Saturday. Waited a little bit longer in the week to post this one, hoping more people get the chance to view this one, and it's just been a crazy week. I don't know if anybody else had that, but it was a little bit wild for us this week. Welcome to week 5 of our Sarcopenia series. Today, I'm going to try to keep this fairly brief. I could go on and on about this topic. It's something I talk about a lot with clients in the office. The big question of how do I know if I'm lifting enough? Huge with strength training because you want to make sure that you're lifting enough to get the stimulus that we want to actually build muscle. Common misconception is, well, I'm using weight, so I'm strength training. If you are using weight and not doing enough weight, you might just be exercising with weight and not actually training for strength. Big difference between moving a weight around and getting the stimulus that's strong enough to actually make the muscle grow. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The easiest method that I have found with clients and that I like to use personally is called the rating of perceived exertion, so RPE. Okay, we will also tie that into what's called reps in reserve, or RIR. So you'll see these two columns here. I'm going to give you the very basic breakdown of how you can approach this or start to approach this. It takes a long time to get comfortable with knowing that you're hitting the right RPE with your weights, but over time with practice, as you get more and more reps with that, it'll make more sense. I will also attach a link to an article that I really like that I send out to a lot of clients that goes over more specifics on this. That way you can see the numbers in front of you a little bit easier, which might help to supplement your understanding of this. So let's dive right into it. So rating of perceived exertion. When it comes to strength training, this is basically a scale from 0 to 10. So we're going to go 0 on the top, 10 on the bottom. 0 is basically you're sitting on the couch at rest. You're not doing anything at all. So our reps in reserve at that point, I would just consider infinity there. You could do that all day. It wouldn't feel great. It's not great for you, but you could do it all day. In between the 0 and the 1, obviously we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We are going to glance over the 1 through 5 just for sake of brevity with this. So, and we'll talk more about what the 6, 7, 8, and 9 are here. Basically, this is the level of difficulty of your set. Okay, so we're going to go to the extreme end and go to a 10. If I am exercising at an RPE of 10, that is the absolute max weight that I can lift. Okay, after I do my rep here, I would absolutely not be able to do any reps. So I have a 0 rep in reserve. I wouldn't have any reps left in the tank. I will almost never have people train at this level unless you are a competitor who's trying to get ready for a powerlifting competition or something like that. We might push you here, but not typically. Let's bump back up to 6. 6 would be the upper end of your warm-up. Okay, we're not quite into our strength stimulus training sets yet. This would be considered a tough warm-up. So, what does that mean? When I think about the reps in reserve basically means how many more reps do I have left in the tank when I finish my last rep of that set. Okay, so if I'm warming up for sets of 5, and I do my last warm-up set of 5, if I'm truly working at an RPE 6, then I could have definitely done 4 more reps at that weight, 10 minus 6, maybe 5 reps. Okay, so I would see that as a tough warm-up if I know I have 4 or 5 more reps left in the tank. Your sweet spot with training for that strength stimulus is this 7, 8, and 9 RPE. Your first working set, I want to see somewhere around 7, and as you progress your weight, you will progress from a 7 to an 8 to a 9. Your last set, we'll start there, your last working set, you should have 1, maybe 2 reps left in the tank. Okay, that doesn't mean we're going to do those reps, but that means when I rack that weight, we'll use a squat for example, when I rack that weight and I'm done with my set, I know that I could have done 1, maybe 2. Okay, so we're not going to a complete failure. We're leaving 1 or 2 reps left in the tank to make sure we worked hard enough. Okay, so that holds true for these others as well. When I'm working at an RPE of 8, I know I could do 2, maybe 3. RPE of 7, I know I could do 3, maybe 4. Okay, so how does that look as we're working through our strength sets? Say my strength is programmed to have 6 sets. We'll just use that because it's a nice even number. It breaks into these well. If I've got 6 sets, then I might do 2 of those sets at an RPE 7, 2 of those sets at my RPE of 8, and my final 2 sets at that RPE of 9. So I'm not going to work all of my working sets at that highest weight. I'm still working up in weight, hopefully, as I go through this. With fatigue, it is very possible that that weight doesn't necessarily change from RPE 7 to RPE 8 to RPE 9. I may do my first set at RPE 7 and know, yeah, I had 3 reps left in the tank. This is great. As I fatigue, if I'm using that same weight, if I'm fatigued, I might feel like I only have 1 more rep in the tank on my last set, even though the weight didn't change. That's totally fine. You don't have to go up in weight every single time, as long as your exertion falls within, your difficulty level falls within these boundaries. That is a very, very basic breakdown of what that can look like. And again, it takes a lot of practice to know this is how much weight I did. I know that I could have done this many more reps, but you have to start envisioning it that way, because if you're trying to train your strength and you get to the end of your set and you're like, man, I could have done 8 to 10 more reps. Well, now you're working somewhere up in this range and we're not getting that strength stimulus that we want. So this range is more that exercising with weight range, not the strength training range. So I hope that makes sense. Please post your questions below on the Facebook group, on the YouTube video. Either way is totally fine. I will also put a link on there that links you to that article that I was talking about. But hopefully this at least gives you a basic understanding and a basic starting point for how to start gauging those weights to make sure you're getting into that strength training stimulus area. Okay, hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy all the football games this weekend, and we'll see you next week.